Hey everybody, this is That Church Tech Guy making a quick follow-up video to the DIY LED stage design video that has been getting a lot of views recently. This video is in response to a ton of questions I've been getting from you guys that have watched that video. So I thought of making this video of like the top 5 lessons that I've learned from building the custom LED stage design that we built. The first lesson I learned through this whole process was the importance of just having a solid plan, and a plan not only just for the set design, but also a plan for what you're going to purchase and how much of what you're going to purchase. Having a plan for what you want to do with the design, what kind of effects you want to have on your stage with this LED design. All these things will come together to create a plan that will make the process much easier down the road. Moving on to lesson 2, after you have a solid plan, is when you're buying stuff. This stuff, to save money in DIY, is going to be some cheap circuitry and some cheap LED tape lights. So sometimes they're not reliable, so the lesson I learned is to always buy more than you're going to need, 10 to 20% more than what you know you're going to need for your plans. Along with lesson 2 also is buying all of your stuff at nearly the same time, especially your LED tape lights. We kind of learned this the hard way while building our set, that we ordered our first big batch of LED tape light strips and got them all in. We made our design. We wanted to add more to our design, so we went back to our previous purchased links. We bought more of the same LED tape light strips, and for some reason we got a completely different brand from the same seller through Amazon. So watch out for that. So I would recommend definitely purchasing everything you need and then some at the same time, so you know you're getting a batch of the same stuff from that seller. Alright, moving on to lesson number 3. This is a quick short tip lesson, but we did a ton of soldering throughout the whole project. And something that was very easy and streamlined the process was Dolphin Connectors. These are just crimp-on Dolphin electrical connectors. You can find them pretty much anywhere on Amazon or online, any online store, maybe even some hardware stores nearby. Moving on to lesson 4 that we learned through this process is that the LED tape lights are very, very, very fragile. If you want to make any type of 90-degree angles with them, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of patience. We actually ordered some 90-degree connectors that you were supposed to be able to connect to LED strips too. They just kind of snap on. And to even get these things to snap on, you'd have to very carefully remove the film of whatever the epoxy film was on top of the tape lights, and then the connections themselves were very unreliable. So in our full set that you've seen in the previous video, and if you haven't seen it, the link will be below, but in this full design we didn't have a single connection in our tape lights we just used full tape light strips to go along one way, and then we actually tricked it, and we made just a loop in the same line, just one solid loop, and then we covered the top loop part, so then all you're seeing is the 90-degree angle. And we covered that loop stuff with some plastic black tubing that we had, just flexible wire tubing cover that we found around. Also, the 5th lesson, which is just kind of not really a lesson, but a tip, is to make sure that you're buying the right stuff. There are 2 different types. There's just RGB, which is just red, green, blue, and then there's RGBW, which has the white also, red, green, blue, and white. This is strictly your preference. You can get a pretty good white using just an RGB tape light strips. The only benefit to the RGBW is you can get a much brighter, cleaner white. for sometimes the same price, maybe a little bit more in some instances. But if you buy RGBW tape light strips, you got to make sure you're buying decoders, encoders, and then you're buying connectors, whatever you're going to use. All of your wiring, you're going to make sure you're buying stuff that's RGBW also. I hope that answers some basic questions. I'm going to have the links to the other videos down below. I hope this was very helpful. Feel free to reach out to me. I've had a ton of questions through email and through YouTube, so I'll try to keep up with those. But yeah, happy building, and I hope this all helps everyone. Thanks a lot.